So one evening, my husband and I were sitting out on my back patio, and I had some pain in my right breast. And I decided to feel around, and I felt a really small, hard knot way up underneath my right breast. And I knew that that wasn't normal, but I'd gone in for all my yearly exams and all that kind of stuff. Didn't have breast cancer in my family. So, I didn't really know what that meant to feel that, but I had this feeling that it wasn't right. So the very next day, I called my gynecologist's office at 8:15 and told them what I felt. And at 9 o'clock, I had an appointment. I went in, and my oncologist felt that spot, and or not my oncologist, my gynecologist, felt that same spot and said I needed to go to the breast center that afternoon. And I went in and had my first mammogram, and then immediately had an ultrasound and had a doctor look with the ultrasound, and she told me right then and there that she thought it was cancer, and that she was surprised I actually felt it because it was so small. And I was actually told that, kind of almost like, good job, you caught, we think you caught it early, type of a thing. It'd be really rare if it had spread. And so they wanted to confirm that it was cancer. The next day, I went in and had a needle biopsy, and they actually biopsied one of my lymph nodes as well. That they said looked a little fatty, but they didn't think it was cancer. So I went in and took my mommy with me. She came back in the room, and they did the needle biopsy. And this was on a Friday. 2 days later, on a Sunday morning, I was called, and I didn't know what the number was, so I knew automatically who it was. And they told me that I had breast cancer. It was in my lymph node, and it was a grade 3. So from there, I think 4 days later, I went in and had a breast MRI, and that breast MRI showed that I had 7 tumors in my right breast instead of just one. 6 of them were very small. We're not certain that they were all cancer, but more than likely they think that they were. Looked like also that maybe 2 lymph nodes were involved at this point when I had my breast MRI. Then 4 days later, I went in and had a PET scan, and those PET scan results came back that I had breast cancer that had traveled to my bones. And that's when I received my stage 4 diagnosis. I immediately had surgery. I had a full hysterectomy and had my ovaries removed. My breast cancer is fed by estrogen, so getting my ovaries out was something that my doctor believed was an important first step. And my gynecologist said, we're getting everything out. And I'm assuming just fewer places for it to travel to, possibly. So I had that surgery, had it all done laparoscopically. It actually was a relatively easy surgery. I then started on letrozole, which is an estrogen inhibitor, and Ibrance, which was relatively new at the time. Very expensive drug that my insurance did not want to pay for. Denied it. We appealed it, and got them to pay for it. I had scans every 3 months after starting my first line treatment, and every scan showed that things were getting better, less active places in my body. At my 12-month scan, I was actually told I had no active cancer in my body. 2 months prior to that, I had a double mastectomy because that was the only place where I still had active cancer in my body. All the places in my bones were inactive. They were sleeping. The medication was working well for them. And then at my 15-month scan, I found out that one of the places in my bones became active again. So that led to me stopping that first line treatment that I was on and having some more testing done to see if there was a mutation that might have interfered with my first line treatment working as long as my oncologist had hoped for. And I found out that I had the PIK3CA mutation, and started a trial drug and Faslodex injections went along with that. The trial drug that I was on was alpelisib, and I had a 50% chance of actually getting the drug or getting the placebo. We're pretty sure that I got the drug due to the side effects I had. I had a horrible rash head to toe, and there were pictures of that I saw that went along with the trial drug. Also, my glucose levels rose, and I had to get on metformin, a diabetes medication, and that was also a major side effect of that drug. I was on that for 6 months, and during that trial, every 2 months, I had a CT scan because that was the protocol for the trial, and that spot was decreasing in activity until my 6-month scan, and then a spot showed up on my liver, and it was one spot, and we were very hopeful that possibly it wasn't cancer. It normally, when it spreads to your liver, I've been told it spreads, there's more than just one spot on there. The spot was very small. So the CT scan, though, was indeterminate. We weren't sure if it was cancer or not. So the very next day I went in for an MRI, and that was still indeterminate. We're not sure we're not sure according to that if it's cancer or not. And then the very next day I had a PET scan, which did show some uptake in that spot, a very small amount of uptake. It's not a real active spot. There's even a very, very, very slight chance that it's not cancer, but we're treating it as it is cancer. I went in for a biopsy on my liver, and I was told that they couldn't do it. My oncologist had said it was in a pretty dangerous spot because it's close to my diaphragm, but spoke to the doctor that was going to be doing the biopsy, and he said he could do it. I went in, had lidocaine, they kept putting saline in my body to try to separate my diaphragm, move it kind of out of the way to get to my liver, and eventually was just told, I'm sorry, I can't do this biopsy. So it's really hard because my bones were doing fine. They were still stable, but this new something, popped up in my liver. We don't know if it's still fed by estrogen. We don't know if it's triple negative, if it's HER2 positive. We don't even know 100% that it's cancer, although we're pretty sure it is. So it's really, really frustrating. I had all this worry and anxiety and build up for this liver biopsy. Half the people I had polled through Facebook that have had them said it was the easiest thing they've done, and half the people said it's the hardest thing that they've done. It was horrible. And so I, was very anxious about it. I was told it was a dangerous place. We may not even be able to do it. Went through all of that, and about an hour and 15 minutes or so, I think, of the doctor trying, he looked at me and said, I can't do it. So I have this mystery going on right now, and my oncologist, who I trust with my life, has put me on Afinitor and tamoxifen, and is very hopeful that no matter what that spot on my liver is, that this could hopefully work for me, and hopefully work for a long time, right? That's what we all hope. We all want to be here to see our kids grow up, and to be here for the next great treatment that comes out that could help us live another year or two, and until maybe something else comes out. So that's kind of where I am right now. I've had a couple of surgeries. I'm on my 3rd line treatment in less than 2 years. I was diagnosed July 2015, so it's been about 22 months since my diagnosis, and being on my 3rd line treatment is really scary. My dear friend is still on her 1st line treatment, and it's been 31 months. And, it's what I wanted, but it's not what's happened for me. So, I'm just going to keep going. And, my doctor said I'd have a scan 6 to 8 weeks after starting this new treatment to see what's going on. So, that's what I'm waiting for next.